according to Jesus. So anyway, we're going to learn some things today, hopefully, about that, because in this context, the word glutton or gluttony is not even mentioned. But yet this was our text today from Luke 21:34. So gluttony according to Jesus. And our scripture text in 21, we're going to read 33 and 34. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. And take heed to yourself, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that the day come upon you unaware. The day the Lord takes us out of here, whenever that may be. I've been looking and studying in the book of Revelation. I'm wrapping up the New Testament tomorrow. I've wrapped up one volume. I've wrapped up Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Now I've wrapped up the New Testament tomorrow, and I'm in my 5-volume spiral Bible notebook set. I love it. Lots of room for notes. And so I'm really enjoying the 5-volume set. I'll be through with 2 volumes for my 6-month going through the Bible this time in December. I'll wrap it all up. But anyway, I was reading the book of Revelation today, and, pre-trib, post-trib rapture, mid-trib rapture, et cetera, and so he said that day is coming. So take heed. Now, when the Lord says take heed, he means take heed. That means listen to me, because there's going to be some things that come into your life, surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life. And so that day will come upon you unaware. You're going to be too drunk to know God came. I mean, that's what he's saying. You're going to be too satiated with the world. So, like I said, the word glutton is not even mentioned here, but the implication is, and I've always told people this, that, because I've been judged being a big guy most of my life, carried around 300 pounds really good, folks. I mean, you would not have known I was 300 pounds when I weighed 300 pounds. So God, I wish I could get back to that, Lord, in Jesus' name. But at that, I was fairly thin. I mean, not skinny, but on a 6'3" frame, I really felt good, looked good, did not look obese at all. And so you're constantly being judged when you're a big person. You can see it in people's eyes. I mean, we were, even at church the other day, there was, I'm not going to say who, but anyway, when I went up to the front to pray for people, I could see it in their eyes. They didn't know me, never seen me before, and I could see in their eyes, or at least I thought I could, like, oh my goodness, because this guy was, fit looking and everything, and probably never had a problem with weight in his life, and so I just kind of saw it in his eyes, like, oh my goodness, man, you big glutton. That's what you get from people. I mean, I could go out to eat with people and eat the same amount of food they did. Even if we went to a buffet, I would eat the same amount of food. I didn't eat more than they ate. It was a buffet, so we all went back and got something. But comparatively speaking, my plate was just like their plate. But because I was overweight, we'll put it that way, I'll put it this way, because I was horizontally enhanced. I'm not fat, I'm just horizontally enhanced. But because of that, they'd make little remarks about, oh, Brother Sonny, look at you, you're so big. And I'm like, dude, you just ate the same amount of food I ate, but in your eyes, I'm the glutton. And I'm not defending or justifying any of this today, but the Lord kind of spoke to me back in those days, and I said, Lord, what is gluttony? What is gluttony? And it seemed like the Lord told me, anything that you eat more than it takes to sustain your body, that's gluttony. So, folks, we're all in a mess, because if that's the case, it takes so many calories to maintain your brain, your nervous system, your digestive tract, all of your organs. It takes a certain amount of calories, and anything above that would be excessive. And so when you eat more than what it takes for your body to live and be sustained, then that's gluttony, according to what I felt like the Lord told me. So we're all in a mess, or most people are. There's some very few people, 1 out of 1,000,000, that just don't even like eating. They make themselves eat just to survive. But most of us don't have that problem. But today, the word glutton was not even mentioned in this text, but the implication was there of excess. He said, again, I'll read that, take heed to yourself, let any time your hearts be overcharged, and we're going to break that down, with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day may come upon you unaware. So listen to this. Lest your heart be overcharged. That means burdened severely, stern, basically hardened from desensitization from various forms of gluttony of this world. That's what he's saying. Don't let your heart be overcharged. Don't let your heart become hardened and insensitive and burdened because you have taken advantage of the things of this world, and now you can't even tell that you are satiated or gluttonized for the end time, and the day is going to come upon us unaware if we are living for this world. And worldliness to some people has always been all the major thing. Matter of fact, for Pentecostals, it's been the things you wear, how you dress, if you can get to go to the movie, it used to, if you can listen to the radio, if you had a beard, if you had certain kind of shoes that people didn't like, you were called unholy and unrighteous. But the Lord is talking about here loving the world. Demas hath forsaken me, having loved this present world, is what Paul said. In other words, it was the gladiator games. It was the culture of that day. It was the prostitution and the idol worship. Demas hath left me because he fell in love with the world. And the world to Demas was that, I want to be a part of this culture. I want to have an iPad. I want to have a smartphone. I want to have all of these things, and I want to become satiated, and I want to gluttonize this world. So my heart will be overburdened and heavy and overcharged, and I won't be able to hear the Lord when he comes back for me. So with surfeiting, we're going to break this down, like I said. Surfeiting is a headache, a hangover, a headache from overindulgence. So he said, don't let your heart be burdened and heavy and overcharged and insensitive because you've got a hangover from the things of this world. And it did not just mean drunkenness, just like gluttony does not mean an excess of food. The implication is you've got a hangover from the things of this world. I've heard of people that have played games, computer games, until they fell over dead. I mean, it's in internet cafes. People have literally played so many hours that they end up dying because of lack of nutrition, lack of sleep. Surfeiting. They're overwhelmed. Their heart is heavy, and it gives out. And so that means too much of everything. Drunkenness, he said, or don't let your heart be overwhelmed with surfeiting and drunkenness, intoxicated with the things of this world. There are so many things in our lives. It's so easy to be a glutton of this world. I actually yesterday looked into a new phone. It would cost me more. I'm with AT&T, and I've got a nice smartphone, and Janine's got an iPhone, and Savannah's on our plan. She's got a nice phone. But I actually looked into getting, and still may do it, a second phone, a flip phone, just a simple dumb phone, they call it. Not a smartphone, but a dumb phone. I love flip phones. I've always loved flip phones. I miss flip phones. Well, now they have them, with the double screen and all. But the old-fashioned Razor or, the Motorola Razor flip phones, I love it. But, folks, we get so overwhelmed from everybody, and please don't take this the wrong way. I want to hear from you, okay? When I talk about these things, I'm just trying to bring us back down to earth. I'm not saying I don't want you to contact me, but I'm just saying I get so overwhelmed with every minute of the day hearing that beep go off, telling me I've got a message from Messenger, I've got a text message, I've got somebody wanting to talk to me, and they get offended if you don't talk to them. What have I done to you? Have I hurt you? Why don't you talk to me? Well, I got a job. I've got a job, okay? I've got a family. I've got a ministry. It's summertime. We're babysitting. We're taking care of Kylo. We're all these things. We're busy. And because of social media now, everybody thinks that you ought to drop what you're doing and talk to them immediately. If you don't, they get offended. And they'll write me and say, what have I done to you? Well, you have done nothing. I just actually have to make a living. I've got to work. And I actually, to be honest, I don't feel like talking right now. I'm tired. It's 9:00 at night. I've been going all day. Now, please, this is not a rant. I hope you know me well enough to know this. This is not a rant, and I want to hear from you. So don't say, well, Brother Sonny said, he don't want to hear from it. No, that's not what I'm saying. I want to be able to pray for you. I want to be able to minister. I want you to message me. So please don't take this the wrong way and say, bless God, I'll just quit writing then. No, if you do, you're out of the will of God. Because we're part of your life and we want to be a part of your life. But what I'm saying? You know that we pick up these phones constantly and we got to see if we have a private message from somebody, a text message, somebody tried to call us. We've got an app. We want to go look at Facebook real quick. You didn't go there intending to do that, but you do it automatically like a robot. And we just have to be honest, folks. You go out to eat with your family. Everybody's got their phone out. They're clicking away. Don't even have time to talk about your family and life and what you need. It's always about these electronic devices. And I just you know me. I'm just going to be honest with you. And I'm going to have to give you all kind of disclaimers so you won't quit writing me telling me you need prayer, because I want to pray for you. But just because I don't answer you back the minute you want me to answer you back, don't get offended. I've got a life. You've got a life. And social media has made it to where we can get tracked down 24 hours a day. And everybody, so folks, I'm telling you, I can't tell you the times to where I've told Janine, I'm overwhelmed with everything going on in my life. I'm overwhelmed, and I'm taking a chance on, and when I get to the end of this sermon, you're going to know what I'm talking about. I'm taking a chance on getting burned out and cutting off everything. No Facebook, no Messenger, no nothing. Just simply because I'm so stressed out from it, from the daily grind of all of it, that I'm speaking for all of us, that I want to check out now on everything. And that's not the will of God. Our ministry is, and we're going to talk about that at the end of this sermon. You're going to know what I'm talking about. But do you want me to be honest today? I think you do. I think that you appreciate me being honest and not being mean about it, but being emphatic about it, that I'm not at your beck and call. And you're not at my beck and call. And I write all of you. And you may be tired at the minute I write you. And you may say, oh, it's Brother Sonny, and we're going to get into a long conversation, so I'm just not going to answer him right now. That's okay. Don't answer me right now. Because it's just overwhelming. Overwhelming, folks. And we're going to get burnt out on everything if we don't watch it. Especially people that care. People that care. I don't get paid for ministry, folks. Some of you have sent offerings, and it's gone right into Pakistan or different places. I don't keep it. I don't pay my light bill with it, my electric bill. I don't do that. I mean, I could, but I don't. And so I don't get paid for this. But I love it, and I've got to do it. Woe is me if I preach not the gospel, Paul said. But I also have to have some kind of a balance, or I will get burnt out and not be able to do any of it. And the same with you. I'm speaking for all of us today. But anyway, so there are so many things in our lives. It's too easy to be a glutton in this world. And so I looked into this this dumb phone, of an old flip phone, which I love anyway, where I'm going to, if I get it, I'm going to carry that thing most of the day and not look at Facebook, not look at Messenger, If you have an emergency, you can email me or you can text me. I haven't done this yet, so do what you've been doing. No problem. But we got to get out of the habit of constantly checking everything to see if people's written us or if they liked my comment. Have they commented on my profound post that I did today that was just earth-shaking? I got to know how many likes I got. I got to know how many comments I got. And then when somebody comes against us on it, we go, oh, I can't believe this rascal. You know, they didn't like my comment. But anyway, so which brings me to the next on the list, cares. Don't be drunk. Don't be serpenting, and don't let the cares of this life overwhelm you. What does that word cares mean? Distractions. What am I talking about? Before I even studied these words one by one, that was everything I told you before I got to cares was written down as my thoughts concerning overcharged hearts, surfeiting, drunkenness. And then when I got to cares, sure enough, what I just told you about being distracted by social media, by all these apps that we have, by all these things that we have, cares means distractions and anxieties. And that's what we all feel every day. When I write you, you're probably thinking, I'm tired. You know, I'll get a call from the other side of the world, and I think it's just because people don't realize it, but I'll get a call from Pakistan or a message from Pakistan or maybe India or wherever, and they'll say, I want to talk. Well, it's 9 o'clock at night here. I've already talked myself to nearly death all day. It's morning time there, so I understand. I'm not chewing you out. I'm just saying, think about the clock. I've been working all day. Now I've just had prayer meeting at night. And I've been going since 5 o'clock in the morning, and now you want to talk. I don't want to talk. I don't feel like talking unless it's an emergency. I don't feel like having a conversation at 9 or 10 when I have to get to bed because I got to get up at 5 again the next day. And I'm speaking for all of us today. Please don't take me wrong today. I'm having to throw all these disclaimers in there because I want you to hear. I want to hear from you. I want you to continue to write me. I want to continue to pray for you. But I may not answer you back immediately. You know what I'm saying? You may not answer me back immediately. We're talking about gluttony today, being overwhelmed by the world. So I got to preach this. I got to tell you, I didn't pick this message today. It's in alphabetical order, but God seems to always speak to us just the way we need to because he's the one that told me to teach this series according to Jesus. So I'm not picking out an agenda today to holler at people and say, you're bugging me. You're not. But I'm simply preaching what the Lord gives me, and I try to be honest when I preach. So anyway, I hope this is blessing some of you. You better tell me if it's blessing you, because if you don't, I'm going to think you got mad at me. So let's hear some comments about, if you be honest with me. If you think I'm don't want to hear from you, write that down. But I hope you don't take that way. Anyway, I'm having to explain things today because I don't want to offend you. We are anxious because of all the demands on life. We can never become detached from the daily life. It's day in. And listen to what Paul said in 2 Corinthians 11:28. He talked about all the things he had gone through, all the beatings, all the shipwrecks, all the everything. But he said, beside those things, beatings, beaten with rods, shipwrecked, being bitten by vipers, coming out of the fire. Paul said, beside those things that are without, the things that beat me up physically, that which cometh upon me daily, the cares of the churches. And that's what we have in ministry, the care of the churches. Some people here consider me their pastor. They don't have a home church, and I encourage them to get a home church. But I'm happy to fill in and be their sounding board and help them. But Paul said, it overwhelms me, the great apostle that's not even married. I don't have children. And yet I'm overwhelmed by the daily care of the churches. Well, you can imagine a person that works a full-time business, has a family, babysits in the summer, has to live life, all the things that we have to live. You can imagine Paul didn't worry about all that, wives and things like that, and the cares of children and grandchildren. But he said, I'm overwhelmed. So anyway, we must get listen to this. Here's the final thing I wanted you to hear. We must get rid of the riddable. I know that ain't a word. I know it's not a word. But we must get rid of the riddable, or we will get overwhelmed and we will get rid of the unriddable. You got me? If we don't get rid of the riddable things, the little things that eat away at our day, then we're going to get rid of the unriddable. We're going to get burned out and say, and I've been there. I've been on the verge of it many times, folks, to where the demands are so great that I just simply want to say, I mean, I've been doing this 50 years. Next year, 2025, will be 50 years since I preached my first message. 50 years I've been doing this. I've seen it all. I've traveled the world. I've traveled all over the United States and worked a job the whole time. All of those 50 years, I've worked a job as well as preached the gospel and counseled with people and done all these things. And if I don't get rid of some of the things that are riddable, that are just daily aggravations, then I'm taking a good chance of getting rid of the unriddable. And I'm not going to do that. I can't stop preaching. I can't stop doing the things that I'm doing. You can't stop doing that. It's we've got to live in this great gospel. And I'm not complaining. The Lord knows. I talked to him about these things. He knows I'm not complaining, and I'm not going to quit the ministry. But the little aggravations that have come in our modern world, we used to sit on the front porch and talk about Jesus, and we listened to gospel music. We didn't even have a television set when we were younger in our marriage. And folks, my kids will tell you today, it was heaven. It was heaven before we started getting monitors and VCRs. And then we started getting televisions, and then the internet came along, and then the smartphones and the iPads and the Android pads and the everything that came with this modern world is killing us. It's overcharging our hearts. And somebody's got to be honest with us. And I happen to be that somebody today. And we just have got, that don't mean I want to get rid of you. You're not the riddable. You're the unriddable. I don't want to get rid of you. But I may not get to jump right on top of things when you write me or you call me. It may be a little while. I might be in the middle of a bid that I'm having to get knocked out at that moment. Or I might just be fried, mentally fried from a tough day. And I'll say, I see that, and I'm praying for that. I'm going to pray for it right now. But I can't get in a long conversation. So I'm going to write them later when I can spend some more time talking, because I don't want to ignore you. Somebody said that Keanu Reeves is such a great person. His sister said this after he nursed her through 10 years of leukemia. His own sister said, the difference about my brother is he looks at me and he listens to every word I'm saying. That's what you want. That's what I want. And I can't do it if I'm overwhelmed and overcharged and just mentally fried and too tired to even come on prayer meeting at night streaming. So I post it. Many times, folks, it's because I'm just wore out mentally. And I've been sitting at this desk all day, and to come and sit for another 30 minutes instead of sitting over there and praying for you, I'll sit over there and pray for you without the streaming, because I don't feel like combing my hair. And I don't feel, we just get wore out. And so anyway, Randy said, I'm with you, brother. Yes, Sheila, Lucretia said, get rid of the riddable so we don't get overwhelmed. Nancy said, I understand and I believe. Wonderful, useful message. Thank you, Nancy. Fraser, I'm so blessed by your sermons, life transforming. Fraser says, please remember to pray for my older son. Yes, Fraser, we are doing that. We want to see him saved. Brenda said, I understand. Thank you, folks, for giving me these comments, because I worry about aggravating you, when I'm just trying to be honest. Wayne Cook said, preach it, brother. Sheila, loving these According to Jesus series. I'm not fishing for compliments today, but I'm fishing to know that I'm not offending you. I don't want to offend you. Now, if the word offends you, there's nothing I can do about it. But I don't want you to think that I don't care for you and that I'm not going to answer you, and I don't want to, and I want you to quit messaging me. And no, a million miles from that. I want you. It's my life. It's my ministry to pray for you and to counsel with you and give you insight on the word and to get insight from you. So we just have to have that clear today. But yet we all know we are overwhelmed. Our hearts are overburdened from the society we live. You're not the problem. It's the 10,000 people that want to talk to us, all the time. Many of them you don't even know. And you get to, I've known Fraser a long time now, and he's not a burden to me. He pray for my son. That's a blessing. And so anyway, there's several people that I don't see on here today that may be here. But anyway, I'm going to go back and read all your comments. I love you. I got to let you go now. I preached longer than I should have, but I just wanted to get my, Nancy said boundaries are very important to maintain. Well spoken, Nancy. Exactly. She says, Sheila, believe me, I understand. Thank you. God bless you, folks. I love you. And there's nothing you can do about it. But more importantly, Jesus and Janine and that little guy over there, Kylo, loves you. And that's the big bonus of the day. And I hope this has blessed you. And I hope you don't think I was venting. I wasn't. In my heart, I know I wasn't. But it's our message today. It's what the Lord, in alphabetical order, gave me to preach. And we've got to admit, we're overwhelmed. We just got to admit it. So keep writing me. Keep sending your prayer requests. Just keep it coming, because even if I don't answer you back immediately, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. We take it serious. I told Janine the other day, Janine, people are depending on our prayers, not because they got to have me, not because somebody else would not be just as good, but because we do these things. They say, we got to write Brother Sonny, because we know he's going to pray. And I have to be honest enough to tell you, yes, I'm going to pray. I'm going to do it. Just know that when you send it, you're going to be prayed for. You may not hear from me instantly saying, I'm praying for you, God bless you, but I'm praying for you. And then when I can, I'll write you back and say, wow, I hope this worked out. We're believing God. But anyway, God bless you, folks. I love you. And Nancy says, hi, Kylo. He said hi. He's over there listening. Believe me, this little boy don't miss a thing. He is over there hearing every word his mama's saying. He listens in. He's very sharp. He's very keen to conversations, and he cares. He cares for you. That's why he'll pop up over here and let you see him every now and then, because he cares for you, and he loves talking to you folks and getting on camera with me when he feels like it. But he's smart. He don't always feel like it. He'll let you know I don't feel like it. I'll say, come over here, Kylo. Come tell everybody hi. He's an honest boy. But anyway, Lucretia said, just because we live in the USA, it doesn't mean we aren't walking through extremely difficult things and heavy burdens that prevent us from being available all the time. Amen, Lucretia. That is correct. Yes, I'm praying, Sheila says. Yes, I'm with you. Anyway, God bless you folks. By the grace of God and my mental capabilities tonight, we will, one way or the other, see you on prayer meeting. God bless you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.